Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. Today we're going to be cleaning out, redoing, sprucing up Slash's enclosure, my sand monitor here. We're also going to be moving this enclosure down below because I have just bought a new animal which I'm going to be setting up an enclosure in place of this one. For that, Slash needs to move down here and then we're going to be building, in another video, we're going to be building this. Beautiful big reptile one, 1200 by 600 by 1200. Massive enclosure. And if you guys hang around for this video, I'll definitely give you a look at what's going in there. But for now, we're going to empty out Slash's enclosure, get out all the sand so it's light enough, pick it up, put it down here, move this one elsewhere. I can use that one for rescue animals, or I might get another animal myself. Yeah, we'll move Slash down there, build that, put that up here. But that'll be for another video. First things first, let's get all the cage furniture out, all of our hollow logs, our hides, and let's give them a clean and then work out what we're going to put back in. I do want to change it up a little bit, but there's not a whole lot we can do. I just got to try and do this without getting my head taken off by Slash. Let's see if we can get her out first. Thanks, Slashy. And there you go. Crazy, crazy lizard. She's a very, very reactive monitor, as you just saw. As soon as I open the cage, she thinks I'm bringing food, so she goes ballistic. But once she realizes, if I hold my hand there a little bit, she has a sniff, she realizes that I don't have food, and she does calm down. But yeah, very reactive lizard. As they should be, as they would be in the wild. They see something move in the wild, bang, they smash it. That's how these guys survive. The last animal you'd want to cross in the outback is one of these guys, I reckon. If you're any smaller, you'll get destroyed. How's the patterning? I'll take her outside in a bit, take her out into the sun and get some close-up footage with my phone, but you can see she's shed up to there on her back. The yellows, I'll give her a bit of a wash, but the yellows are absolutely popping, and the colors and the patterns, and oh, she's just an absolutely stunning lizard. The shed's starting to come off a bit on her back, a bit on her tail's come off, but yeah, they'll just slowly, gradually come off over the next few days. She can hang out down below while we clean this out for her and set it back up. Try to do this without making too much of a mess. So I'll definitely reutilize these planters. After I get all this out, I'll go back up in the paddock. If you guys watched the last video of Slash, you'll see where I got these, where I planted them in. She destroyed them because she runs all over them constantly and digs through them to get the bugs, but they look good and they do last a while. So we'll chuck some more of those back in. That piece is probably one I won't use. She doesn't tend to go in that so much anymore. She tends to use the big hollow log which we created in the last video with the chainsaw, and sometimes she'll go into this box here. So this box here that I created. So I made this when she was a lot smaller and she used it every single night. She'd go into here, which we buried underground. It replicates a naturalistic burrow. Now she's getting a bit bigger, it's probably a bit of a tighter squeeze, but she still uses it. They like being in tight and secure. And there we go. This is her main hide, her main hollow that she sleeps in every night. If I show you here, you can see this is where the entrance obviously was, and she digs down and she's got her little burrow in here. So you can see it's a lot deeper down here where she's flicked all the sand up to make her burrow, which goes all the way to the back here. But there's almost no sand left because she's dug it all up. All right, time for the messy part. Let's get all this red sand out. Look at that. Thanks, Slash. Now I'll tell you what, one thing I have learnt is I will not be using this genuine red desert dirt again. Well, not for this species anyway, because it is terrible. My entire house is filled, the lounges turn red, the kitchen bench, you wipe your finger across it, red. You know what, I'm sure it would be fine with maybe some species like some central netted dragon, something that's running around, flicking a little bit of dust here and there. Not a sand monitor, it's constantly digging, constantly moving, because she's just constantly throwing this red dust everywhere. It is, like, if I show you guys up here, everywhere and not good. So this time, I think I'm gonna do a mix of sort of Bunnings play sand and mulch. We'll mix some up in a bucket, we'll see how that looks and we'll put it in. And that'll be a lot cleaner and do the same trick. Alrighty. All our sand's gone, so time for a wipe down, a good clean out. If you guys watched the last the last sand monitor video, you might remember that I had plans for it to go outside in the aviary. Now that aviary is completely built. However, I've had a fair bit of stuff going on. I just wasn't able to get that done in time for summer. Like the interior design and swapping other animals and chaotic. I promise you this is gonna be the last indoor slash video, unless we do something in the meantime. I promise you guys, as soon as spring hits, she'll be outside. We're in autumn now, so it's starting to cool down. So if I do furnish and prepare outside for her, in the meantime, or maybe on warm days, I'll put her outside, get her used to that enclosure, and then at night bring her back in here. But for now, the plan is to just keep her inside over winter. Once spring and summer hits, have outside ripping, ready to go for her straight in as soon as that warm weather comes back. And then she'll no longer be inside. She'll have a big 10-foot, what is it? I think it's 10 foot by 5 foot aviary to absolutely thrive in. And that's the plan. That's what we're gonna do. But for now, let's give this a wipe down, give everything a wash outside, and go get our live plants out of the paddock. All right, let's go. So I don't know where everyone's watching, but if you're in Sydney, you wouldn't know we've had a shitload of rain recently. A whole heap of rain's come through the paddock. So hopefully I can find one of these little tufts of plants which isn't in the water or isn't too destroyed. Yeah, normally it's easy. But these are the plants we're getting. They're not as green as normal, which is why I like them, because it puts some green, puts some color in the enclosure. But maybe when they went underwater, it destroyed them a bit. These ones are all in the water. They're going to be a bit too tricky and make a bit of a mess and be stinky. I might try and get some of that one. That's nice and green. It's a little bit in the water. I might get a bit splashed. This one, oh, this one might be okay. I'll try and get this one. The grass is a bit long, so I don't know if I can even set the GoPro up anyway. Chuck it over here. But you can sit here. You get a rough idea of what we're doing, eh? Hopefully you can see. Worked alright actually. Might be able to break up this one into quite a few to use around the two enclosures. We'll run with that, we'll go give it a wash, clean it up, it's a little bit stinky, then we can go from there. Don't mind the mess, I've got crap everywhere. But anyway, here's a big selection of things that we can chuck in both enclosures. But for our bigger enclosure, I'll try utilize some of this stuff. A lot of these tree hollows I'm gonna wanna use for this animal. They'll really utilize that. We'll let our plant dry up here. When we get to it, we can pull apart how much we need. And just like last time, we'll shove it in the little hollow logs that I got, like a little planter, and that holds it in place perfectly. We'll give that a wash. We'll give everything out of Slash's enclosure a wash, and then we can start fitting it back out. There you go, there's that box I made for Slash. I'll either reuse it for Slash or I'll use it for our new animal. I went to Bunnings yesterday and had a look, I can get a bigger box. I might even do that and just make a bigger one. Now that they're bigger, our other animals about a little bit smaller than Slash, so could utilize this one, but we'll just see as we go. For anyone that hasn't watched the last video of Slash, so all this is, because it's brilliant, I'd recommend anyone to do it, it's easy. It's just an arts and craft little box in the arts and crafts section, I guess, at Bunnings or your local hardware if you're not in Australia. All I did was drill a hole with a hole saw, right size conduit, stick it in, couple screws, make sure the screws don't come out through the conduit, make sure they're just holding the conduit or pipe in place. And there you go, perfect little hide. which you can then bury. I bury all this under the ground, under the dirt, under the substrate, and then I just have the hole sticking out. You can even cover the hole over a little bit and the animal will find that, dig it out, go right in, and it's like a natural deep burrow out in the wild. And yeah, I absolutely love this. I really recommend it. It's so simple and easy, anyone can do it. But yeah, we'll let all this dry now. Inside's clean. Once this is dry, we can start decorating. Oh, actually, I've got to move the enclosures. I've got to move Slash's enclosure down, move that other one out of the way so we can start setting up the other one. How about while I wait for all this to dry, I can show you what's going in the big enclosure. Get ready. Alrighty, I'll give you a sneak peek of what we're going to build the new enclosure for. There we are. How cute is he? Little 4-month-old. Oh, where is he? It's a bit crazy. How cool is that? I'd never get Slash to do that. If Slash went on my shoulder like that, she'd be hanging off my earlobe. This guy, second day with me, he's been in a spare enclosure before I set up his. How adorable is he? For anyone that doesn't know, little 4-month-old lace monitor. Absolutely adorable. I was meant to get one at the start of the year, but like I said earlier in the video, I had a lot of things come up and I wasn't sort of in the situation to commit to such a large animal, or to what's going to be such a large animal. But I bit the bullet. Any names, please give me some name suggestions. A Pokemon name would be fantastic. It would match in with my other monitors. But yeah, so this guy's gonna get himself a big habitat. It's a big enclosure, you guys will see it. I'll probably release this video first and then the lace monitor video. He'll probably only last in there for a year or so before he has to move outside, and that'll be an awesome video in about a year or two, and we're building him a big outdoor pit for him to live in. You can see the colors popping in the sun. So he's halfway through the shed at the moment. So you can see the yellows and the whites just starting to popping in that sunlight. I am spewing I didn't get a full-on hatchling, like a literally fresh hatchling, but hey, what's 3 months difference? He's only a little bit bigger. Let's be honest, when I build the pit, I'll probably buy some more, which I can start at hatchlings and then introduce maybe a female and then introduce her to him in the pit later on. The other exciting thing about this little guy is I bought him such a large enclosure and he'll outgrow it in a year or two, which gives me a reason to buy something else to put in that enclosure. So it's a win-win situation. But we'll go put him away and we'll keep plotting along with the sand monitor enclosure for now. Fiddling around, we got Slash's enclosure in place. We've got a blank space up here. Everything's been moved down. Slash is nearly on the floor. We've got all the room for the lace monitor to go in up there. All right, let's start decorating and get Slash in for the night. Won't be changing her basking spot. It is absolutely perfect. If you remember from the last video, we chopped this all out with a chainsaw, burnt it out, made it look all natural. She burrows in that at night, spends the night in there, comes up, basks on there during the day. Couldn't ask for a more perfect little section. So that's staying. We're gonna chuck that back in the corner and then we'll go mix up our sand and mulch mix. For our substrate, I'm gonna use some Bunnings Play sand and some eucalyptus mulch. So predominantly sand, like a sand monitor in its name, would have in the outback regions that it lives in. This stuff's really soft and just sandy, I don't know. This is gonna firm it up, make it a little bit more firm, put some chunks in it, make it easier. If she wants to dig a burrow, it'll hold the burrow a bit nicely, and then we'll moisten it up and yeah, should work a treat. All right, we'll start mixing. Oh, bam, bam. Oh, right on the lens. Good one. They think I got food. Their food comes in these bags and I feed them in those buckets. Silly girls. I'll put this over here. Is that better? So there we are. You can see the sandy soil mix I'm sort of going for. It's just gonna make our sand a bit thicker. Are you right? It's gonna make our sand a bit thicker, form burrows a lot better. Oh no, it just looks, I don't know, it looks cool. I'm giving it a crack anyway, because we ain't using that red stuff again. I learnt my lesson from that. Put a bit of substrate in her box, so it's not just an empty dry box for her. When she goes in there, she can move around, get comfortable, shape whatever she feels good with. We'll make sure to fill up her burrow here. Make sure we fill this right up, because then she can go in, shape that how she wants it. And she'll go in there, she'll dig that out, make that comfortable for her. I'll try and film that, she'll probably do that as soon as I put her back in. Alrighty, I'm gonna chuck Slash back in for the night. It's getting on, this is taking a while, and then we'll get stuck back in first thing in the morning. I'll put another couple hides in here for the night for her, and then we can finish off tomorrow. We're back, let's keep going. Oh, what's going on with the hair? Whew. There's a fair bit of depth to this tag. However, she flicks and digs so much that it fills up the tracks. So we'll probably put the substrate at the front about that deep, and we'll level it up to the back. The sides have just got some plywood. That helps keep all the heat in and not escaping through the glass enclosure. Something we don't have to do with our brand new melamine one. Let's keep putting this substrate in. Want to sort of compress it all so she can tunnel, make the shapes that she wants. In the wild, these sand monitors, they dig these big spiral burrows so far underground. They just go down. Not only that, they'll utilize other animals' burrows. Incredibly competent diggers, these guys are. So I'm happy with this amount of substrate. It's a little bit lower at the front and a bit deeper at the back. She's got all these deep spots where she can bury, dig, everything like that. Now we'll go get some sticks, logs, obstacles, whatever else we're gonna chuck in, and we'll start setting this up, eh? All right, I'm gonna go quite a similar setup to what we have before. It worked well, it looked good. We'll just move everything around. She's got a different substrate. That's gonna be a lot of enrichment, a lot of different stuff for her. Chuck that in, that's a big one. This one's awesome, look at that. Anything else we want? I'm gonna use that for the lace monitor, I think. Might be able to mount that sort of on the side of something like that. That'd be really cool. Imagine that standing upwards. Imagine that standing upwards on an angle. Whew, that'll look cool. Yeah, we might run for that now. We'll go chuck that in, we'll see how we look. Now I was tempted to put this big hide at the front here, and she's already got one on the hot side underneath the timbers there, and she's got this one. So I might just leave all the front for roaming room. We'll utilize all the bits up the back for her to burrow through, for the bugs to go in, for her to try and get them out. Alright, so this is looking alright. You've got a lot of tunnels. Got a tunnel here. We've got this hollow log here that she can go through. This isn't going to be a tunnel, nor is this. We're going to put plants in there. Might plant out here, maybe plant out the back as well. Ooh. Don't do that, you'll burn yourself, silly thing. So yeah, we'll chuck a bit of greenery. I'd like this to stand up and get a bit more height on that. She can go in under there. She's still got access to her box at the back. That completely hides her box, especially once we put the greenery in. pretty happy with this so far. She's looking happy. Yeah, we'll chuck some greenery in. We'll see how it looks, see if we need to add anything, move anything else. I think we might be on the money here. Here's our plants all dried up and clean, not so smelly anymore. It's not as green as I'd like it, but it's still green. It's gonna add some color, and we'll chuck gum leaves and things in every now and again. So now all we gotta do is break each piece up and go shove it in our little log planters. She didn't realise she'd actually get out by scratching the glass that time. She scared herself. Now obviously I'm going to cut off the bits that have the potential to go and touch the heat lamp because we don't want a fire. We can just allow bits to go wherever, break off, go on the ground, do what they want to do. I just want to plant a little tiny one in the back corner, just to add a bit more colour, a bit more life over into that area. You guys watching this? What are you doing? Off of there. She is ridiculous. You're a menace. This is why I've been reluctant to put her outside while she's this size, because she gets into every nook and cranny. Like, the tiniest mistake, the tiniest hole, tiniest gap, she'd be gone. You'd never see her again. What are you doing? That's a terrestrial monitor. My God. Get down. Get down. Come on. Off of there. Off of there. I may have to lower this hollow log if she does that more than once. Liability. And there we are, brand new fresh habitat for my sand monitor. So as you can see, I like to use a lot of natural timbers, plants, everything. I like to make the enclosure a slice of habitat of where this animal originally come from. And you can see all the cracks and crevices in these real logs, these real timbers. When I chuck the wood roaches in, the crickets, you can see they disappear and they live in all these cracks and crevices and they breed in there, they multiply. That's only if she doesn't get to them first. But you can see, you'll watch her, if she finds a crack or a crevice or a plant, she'll go there, she'll be flicking her tongue, using that Jacobson's organ, trying to find where the bugs are until she can flush them out of that hole and get a feed. And it's honestly incredible to watch. It's one of the best things to watch with these animals. Not a bad little setup if I say so myself. This should be the last change setup before she's outside. You guys have to hold me to that. But yeah, let's have a look inside and then we'll chuck in some roaches and see if she can catch them. Guys, always remember, no matter what reptile species you're keeping, especially monitors, especially dragons, make sure you all supply UVB. Now I'm using a T5 UVB lamp here, and obviously 100 watt heat lamp over there that keeps her nice and toasty. And that's gonna provide her with everything she needs. There she is, she's already on the hunt. But guys, I cannot stress enough, please supply UVB to your animals. And keep in mind, you need to change the lamp every 12 or so months. They do wear out, and stop emitting the rays that they need to keep your animal happy and healthy. See her now hunting, using that tongue to sniff out where some more bugs, where some more wood roaches can be, using her nose to dig, stick it into the soil, see what she can smell. And now she's on the hunt. Bang. Lightning quick reflexes. Glad she's not big enough to get me. See her digging here, flicking her tongue around the corner, trying to wedge her nose in there. Because if we look here, there's a wood roach right here. So she's smelling that. She's smelling it with her tongue around the corner. She just can't get to it. I think she knows she's met her match now and she's gonna continue on. Must be something under there. This is the perks of using all this natural stuff. Like I said, all the bugs they get in the tiniest nooks and crannies, and her mission, her goal, her enrichment is to get them out and get a nice big feed. Got full quail eggs here. Now this is something this animal would eat in the wild. Not just full blown quails, but also their eggs. You can see how she smashes it against the logs. She'll smash it against rocks, trees, timbers in the wild, anything to break that egg down so she can get the goodness inside. But she'll just take it whole. Sometimes she breaks it up too much, ends up with a big pile of eggs, and then she'll sit there licking that up. Really cool. Look at her licking her lips, getting all that juicy goodness off.